Welcome to Westford ASMR, everybody. Thanks for stopping in. Oh, do you hear those chimes? I should probably take those off. My wife likes the chimes on the back porch. Let me go do that now. What was I eating? I was eating a burger patty with cheese on it and an egg. That was it. Just a quick thing before I jumped on. Scarfed some stuff. I made some coffee. How are y'all doing? Are you feeling it? Are you feeling it? Come on, come on. Are you alive right now? Come on. Are you feeling it? Come on. Are you feeling it? I can't hear you. Come on. Are you feeling it tonight? Come on. Come on. Do you have a pulse? Can I hear you? Come on. Come on. Come on. Not really. Well, what? You're barely alive, actively working. Yeah, I apologize on behalf of capitalism that you work tirelessly to send in all those super chats. It's very commendable of you. So yesterday was crazy. I titled it Chill Stream, but I think it was like anything but, really. Race baiting and drama for no reason. I don't even care. I don't care. I just, it was a whirlwind. A dang whirlwind, you know. But what y'all think? Y'all think God's racist? You think God's racist? That's what the man, that's what the man, who I'm blacker than, by the way. I'm blacker than that man. 100%. Full stop. I'm blacker than that man. I don't even know if he's black. Does he identify as black? I don't even know. But I'm blacker than that man. And he come in here telling me the guy's racist. The guy's racist? Tell me Leviticus say the guy racist? Shoot, man, that don't make no sense. That don't make no sense, man. God ain't racist. Shoot. God's no respecter of persons, you know. You can always count on prod on the spot. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we've had some Calvinists all really had on here, but John said his dad would come on, which is, I feel like I listened to something like that same day that John was like, my dad said he'll come on. He really knows Calvinism. I think I was listening to like the Royal Path that same day. He was like, don't be arguing with people's dads. I was like, well, Father, that was very timely. So I don't know. God is the most racist. He always wins the Daytona. Yeah. There's a pretty good meme of like it's like it's like a man and two women looking at, you can tell that they're looking at a fire. The fire's in front of them, and it has like captions, and it's like, my sister is horrified. Me that just told my little brother that racist means you're good at being racist means you're good at racing. Something like that. Anyways, it's funny. Yeah. Memes really, why is my coffee mug is really sticky on the handle? What the heck? It's got like a cobweb or something on it too. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? What the heck? It's chocolate. Tastes like chocolate. That's weird. Who's washing my dishes and putting chocolate on them? This is right off the rack. It had just been cleaned. But yeah, that wasn't a very good argument. Kind of came out of nowhere. Went really from just hangout vibes to like debate me, bro, and then random drama. I don't know. I don't care, mate. I don't care. But that guy was trying to say that I'm pretty sure he was a black Hebrew Israelite, and he'd been telling me the guy's racist. So if I can agree the guy's racist, then obviously the black people is the God's golden children. The black people's God's golden children. And you know, that's the first step. God racist, black people got golden children. So I think that's what that was about. But you know, there's many problems, and I never really heard that argument. But I mean, it's like if somebody comes at you real aggressive, and they're trying to tell you like the Mormon thing, like you know, the curse of Ham, that's black people, and you're like, well, obviously not. And they're like, oh, you can, I mean, well, how not? Just look at the text. The text says what it means. It means what it says, man. I mean, the whole framing was wrong. We know I don't start with my exegesis of just 2 verses by themselves. So I was thinking about that, and you know, you got to read it all into context, don't you? Got it? Don't you got to do that? I mean, like the Bible says God hates divorce, but in the old Mosaic law, it has, you know, you got to give a certificate. You got to give like a writ to your spouse if you divorce them. So, like, does God love divorce because he allowed that? No, no, just because he allows something in people's weakness doesn't mean that he about it, you know. So I don't really understand the black Hebrew blood thing about Israel's is black. I don't really understand that jump. I don't get where they get that from. And then he wouldn't answer my question or answer my rebuttals about the ancient version of race versus his whitewashed enlightenment man thinking of race. He just said race, etymology, nation. You can't argue with that. Why not? Can't words have multiple meanings? Can't they have been used in different ways in different cultures and different times? Come on. You know that. Come on. Come on. That's why I brought up the fact that there were Egyptian and Ethiopian Israelites. It's before Judea. But come on. It wasn't an ethnos thing strictly. Look at Exodus. Look at all the names of people exodusing from the Egypt. There was people without Hebrew names. There was Egyptians, part of the nation of Israel, because they believed in the one true God. They believed in the one true God. So if you could, you know, conquer another nation, if you could wipe them off the map by getting them to cease their paganry, then even if you didn't kill them and you destroyed their religion, you destroyed their nation. So come on. Protestants be like, the Bible only allows for divorce if there's adultery, so you need to stay married to your serial unaliver. Ooh. Ugh. It's dark. It's very dark. Like me, like my skin, is very dark. If God real, why do my potato chip bags have more air than chips in it? I mean, that's a good point. That is a good point. What is, Justin, what's your profile? It's a cancel sign over a what is that? Oh, what is that? I don't know. What y'all want to talk about? I thought it'd be fun. I want to do a couple shorter streams. I got so much to do in my life. My life's real busy, real hectic. I mean, it's real hard. And I don't mean to like, you know, I'm not trying to beg or nothing, but if you could just please donate to me, if you could just please send some super chats. Oh, that really helped me get through these tough times. Oh. Yeah, but there's just a lot of stuff I got to get done around the property, and we got a rental property we got to gut and do a lot of new work on it. So if I could keep these streams to like 2 hours, yeah, help poor Wes, poor black Wes, poor black orphaned Wes, get a real job. I have one of those. It's not the money. I know. Like we looked at the Jacob thing, Jacob, but like it's just hasn't really encoded in my brain. I get stuck on the big brain people, and that's as far as my mind got. But I thought it'd be fun to just look at just wind down, pour yourself a nice cold beer, and we can just look at some conspiracies and whatever you want to look at. I mean, I got a good hour and a half, 2 hours in me. I could probably come up with some stuff, and it can be real things like, whoa, there's something going on, or it can be lizard people. I don't really care what you. I mean, I got two things that Yub sent me that I didn't look at yet. Operation Fishbowl and Operation Dominic. I don't know nothing about them. Something about like nuclear explosions. I don't know. Yeah, Nadim, when's your first stream, girl? Nadim, when's your first stream, girl? So I've been sending people over to King Pill because that's what Slow Boy Whiteboard said I should do. And I finally went around and got to listen to them yesterday. So I've listened to about 40 hours of content since I started listening to them yesterday. And yeah, he's pretty cool guy. Everybody support King Pill. But yeah, we want to help out the smaller channels around here. The dark spots on the moon are a map of flat Earth. What? What does that mean? I'm just going to copy and paste that comment and see what happens in Google. Pin that comment. Can I not? There we go. What comes up if I just Google that? If I just Google that, what comes up, huh? Oh yeah, I mean, there's other thoughts I had about that race baiter, that racist man who ain't even black compared to me. I mean, compared to me, he's mayonnaise. Compared to me, he's computer paper compared to me. You know, and I don't care if he hears this. I'm black. I don't care who knows it. I don't care who hears it. You know, I don't look at the Bible the same way as you. You know, I don't read that sola scriptura. You know, to me, it's got to be a continuity. The truth don't change. So if your Black Hebrew Israelite thing comes up somewhere in the 1900s at best, then we can safely throw it out. We can safely throw it out. From what moon conspiracy? What video? What video? You sent something. Oh, what? Where? What video? I don't know what you. Oh, are you talking about from my stream? No, you're not. I don't think we talked about that. We talked about like the moon wave, which I don't know. Just from looking at the footage that Jube sent, it looked like something to do with the camera or something. It didn't look like what I would have thought it was like as a wave. Yeah, I mean, it's okay to be like a vroom vroom racist. I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with that. I didn't see no Bishu. I didn't see no Bishu. Bishu. What you talking about, girl? Bitch, shoot. We making low-hanging fruit jokes here. Yes, sure. I'm good with low-hanging fruit. It's all good. That means it's ripe. That means it's ripe. The ripest fruit hangs the lowest, you know. So why would you even want to go for that high fruit? The high fructose corn syrup ain't good for you no matter what. Shoot. Moon, like the beaver, we could just watch Moon Beaver if you want. I mean, this is a hangout. I mean, I haven't really looked up to how you doing, Rip. I haven't looked up what's going on with the Bohemian Grove recently. Apparently 2 more people went in. Where's the host? You mean Nadim, or you mean the guy yesterday that was debate bro? Black Huber debate bro. Is that who you're talking about? He definitely wanted to be the host. He definitely wanted to be the host because he showed up out of nowhere. My headphones just dudley died, I think. Well, dang. Did they? I charged them yesterday. Oh, I think it's just because nothing's playing through them. That's why. Well, maybe I should turn them off until I need them. You got 30 minutes. When's the stream start? Do y'all not see me? You not hear me? Stream starts in 30. Well, man, dang. I didn't get no BitChute link. I don't know. The dark spots on the moons are a map of flat Earth. Okay, let's look at this. Okay. Why? ScienceABC.com. Probably not. Did that post? I didn't see a single thing that you posted, Dustin. Can you send it to me on Discord or something? Logan, are you joshing me right now? Are you joshing me? Y'all can hear me, right? I'm not just speaking to nothing and nowhere, nobody. Are you not? Y'all, can y'all hear me? Y'all see me? I can't hear nothing, see nothing. I'm just out here. It's rough. Well, I mean, okay, I can wait for you to send me that link. And this Operation Dominic was a series of 31 nuclear test explosions. Here, let me share it for you all. Total yield, okay, blah, blah, blah. This test series was scheduled quickly in order to respond in kind to the Soviet resumption of testing after a tacit 1958 to 1961 test moratorium. Most of these shots were conducted with free fall bombs dropped by B-52 bomber aircrafts. Okay. I don't really know what this is about. Anybody heard of this? I don't know. It's just a bunch of bombs going off or something. Shoot, I don't know what that's about. All right. One thing that's weird to me, y'all see this? What I got to figure out the name of it. Let me look it up real quick. It was like at the Grammys or something like that. This guy, weird faced, showed up. I don't know what his name was. People don't know what the heck's going on. Was he in a suit? It was like for accepting some kind of award or something. What was his name? He's got like this weird face. I don't know how to. I don't even know how to look it up. You guys got to know it. He looks like he's in a suit, but people thought it was like Michael Jackson back from the dead, or Donald Glover for some reason or something. All right, you sent this on Discord. Okay, let's go. Let's do this first. The Lost full 5-hour documentary. I don't got the time for that, but we can start it. A spiritual sequel. Oh my gosh. Y'all hear anything? Is it playing nothing? I don't hear anything yet.
Once you are awake, it is almost impossible to fall back to sleep again. Once you discover that the Earth is not a spinning globe, but a flat and stationary plane with a firmament above it, everything changes. The trusted voices and satanic scientific priests who once shaped our reality and understanding of the world are no longer reliable. Our first-hand experience of the Earth as a stationary realm is at odds with their fabricated narrative of space and spinning planets.
Like Christmas music, isn't it?
The scarring of our land and the barbaric mining of Earth's once majestic giant trees is at odds with the history books and geological narrative. And the awake are left wondering, what on earth happened? If they've lied about the Earth, space, and the destruction of our flat realm, then how can we trust the official mainstream historical narrative? The historical narrative, like the heliocentric model, does not make sense. It doesn't add up. And all it takes is a closer examination, and their lies, which have governed our understanding of history and the world since our birth, begin to fall apart. Let's stir the mind with a few contemplations. We are told that the first true power tool was invented in 1895 when a German company combined an electric motor with a manual drill. The drill weighed 16.5 pounds and required multiple operators. It wasn't until 1957 that a company called Bosch began designing power tools in bulk that were both economical and powerful. So then how did our historical ancestors, a more primitive, underdeveloped people, design and build some of the structures we encounter? What about all the gigantic monolithic stones we encounter that have been cut with such precision? Ask yourself, could you repeat this today with the arsenal of equipment we have at our disposal? And what about the magnificent ancient step wells of the East? Step wells, we are told, were multi-storied wells built by our primitive ancestors as ways to preserve the water supply during droughts. But look at the intricacy and complexity of these structures. Look at the glory and the finesse. Look at the geometric precision. All dug out and crafted from using hand tools. Yeah, right. What about the gigantic canal networks we find all over the world? The Erie Canal in America was allegedly built between 1817 and 1825. There were no civil engineers in America at this time. The people responsible for planning construction were novices, we are told. The canal is 12 meters wide and 4 meters deep. The Erie Canal spans 363 miles. But this was not just a case of digging each day for the Irish immigrants and their oxen companions. They had to fell hundreds of trees as they passed through the virgin forest. They had to build complicated aqueducts and locks, and they had to pass through the Niagara Escarpment,
Really, it's just,
an 80-foot high wall of hard limestone. They had to use black powder to blast through this, we are told, as dynamite had yet to be invented. The canal spans 363 miles and was constructed over an 8-year period. This means that on average, 1 mile was completed every 8 days. What a record, especially since those responsible were novices, and power tools and dynamite were yet to be invented. I can tell you now, the so-called early settlers of the Americas did not build these canal systems. And what of the grand and magnificent castles scattered across our realm? Did you know that most were designed and constructed without plumbing systems and methods to heat rooms properly? The royal and the elite of the past were content without having the accessible necessities of survival just as long as they could live within the grand and the glorious, while the peasants, in their modest abodes, enjoyed warmth throughout the long dark winters? I don't think so. And of course, there is the impossibility of the Great Giza Pyramid Complex. The pyramids, we are told, were constructed somewhere around 2500 BC. The Great Pyramid itself consists of 2.3 million blocks of limestone and granite, and its overall structure weighs 6 million.
You just tell me the timestamp, and I'll come back to that, but I don't. That's just schizo. I didn't. It was just. Did you know that supposedly we had made these things in 1855, and then power tools and castles, and okay, I gotta. What is that guy at the word? Michael Jackson back from the dead. What was his name? Award show. No. Why can I never find these things when I want to, but they'll randomly come up in the algorithm when I don't care? Back from the dead. Donald Glover. It's got to come up. Oh my gosh, yes. Here it is. Y'all see these things? Y'all see this? What is this?
Oh my god! Oh my, the best episode of television all year. Oh my god! It's Jenny Perkins! Holy
Jenny Perkins.
Oh my god! I'm glad you're alive. I was a little worried. I thought it was a documentary. They didn't kill me, but I did not die. I'm still alive.
What?
Oh my god! You're my favorite ever. Yeah, best episode of television all year.
So apparently this, I don't know really the whole thing. Yeah, he like showed up as like at an awards show. It's this guy that's like looks like he's clearly in some kind of costume. Doesn't look like a real person. And it has to do with the award was going to somebody in Atlanta, that show. And it's a Donald Glover show. And he just...
From his debut appearance as a central character in a disturbing episode of Atlanta to his wildly mysterious arrival at the 2018 Emmy Awards ceremony, there's a lot we don't know about Teddy Perkins. Here's a look behind the scenes to help fill in the blanks. Consistently surreal. Teddy Perkins might have been a standout episode of Atlanta, but as weird as it is, it was fully in keeping with the eerie surrealism established in the world of the show. Glover and his Atlanta team have never been afraid to tread toward the surreal. In the world of the show, there's a fuzziness on the boundaries of reality just outside the camera frame.
It's Justin Bieber.
But the Teddy Perkins episode stands apart in the Atlanta universe, both in its unsettling use of heavy white makeup as a metaphor for the corrosive effects of fame and racism, and as a Frankenstein's monster of cinematic references, many pulled from classic horror. References aplenty. The episode starts off like a fairly normal The Jackson Connection. Visually, Teddy Perkins is most obviously inspired by Michael Jackson.
Is that actually?
But Teddy doesn't just resemble the king of pop. He tells Darius about his domineering father with pride in his voice.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, I mean, what I remember about it was like this weirdo shows up at this awards ceremony, and everybody's like, "Michael Jackson's been alive this whole time. Is it Donald Glover in a suit, or is it Michael Jackson?" Teddy Perkins. It was funny. Anything? No, I guess that was it. Sorry, that was a dead end. Thought it was more interesting than it was. I mean, would you find a timestamp for me yet, Dustin? Have you sifted through that 5-hour video? What other interesting? What was going on in the Bohemian Grove lately? People like showed up and it's empty or something. Let's find out. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't know. I'm seeing some weird other things showing up when I look it up. People in weird masks. Vice is weird. Yeah, but the Bohemian Grove, that's a weird place for a bunch of elites. You know, Lord Voldemort went in there. I don't know, 15 years ago or whatever. I saw that video. Apparently other people went in. And just a bunch of people performing some weird mock human sacrifices and such. Oh, Skeptic, what are you posting here? Let's pull that up. 10 minutes is way better than 5 hours. Thank you, Skeptic. That's a W for you. Every church father explained in 10 minutes. Oh my gosh, it's Redeemed Zoomer. Conspiracy theory, Zoomer is
So, like, I just got a Bible, but I don't know how to read it. Maybe I'll go to some YouTubers for help. Stop. You could do that, but make sure you talk to your pastor first, and you should read the church fathers. They were very brilliant men. They didn't always agree with each other, but they were still very important for helping the church figure out what it believes. The apostolic fathers are called that because they knew the apostles and were trained directly by them. So they're the generation of Christians coming right after the apostles. Ignatius is one of them, and he writes a lot about submitting to church authority because a lot of heretics are rebelling against church authority. He also talks about the real presence of Christ in communion.
Do you, as a Calvinist, believe in that?
Denying this.
Either of those?
As much as he cares about church authority, he recognizes that his authority as a bishop
go to
is
your
much less than the authority of the apostles who wrote the New Testament. He's the only one of the apostolic fathers to have an explicit three-office view of the church, where bishop is distinct from elder/presbyter. And he also writes a lot about how important it is to be willing to die for the faith, and he really seems to look forward to dying for the faith. Polycarp did die for the faith just like Ignatius, and he wrote about avoiding false teaching just like Ignatius, but he seems to have more of a two-office
Go read
view of
the
church
church
where
fathers.
bishop
Let me
is the same
summarize
as
them.
elder,
Or,
just like it was in the New Testament.
give you a synopsis.
He was accused by the Romans of being atheist because he didn't believe in the Roman gods. So when he was executed by the Romans, they told him, "Repent and say, 'Down with the atheists.'" So Polycarp pointed at the Romans and said, "Down with the atheists."
My
Clement
people.
was the leader of the church in Rome.
He's appropriating my
Peter,
people.
and he writes a letter to the Corinthians telling them to stop being so weird and immature, just like Paul's letter to the Corinthians.
Did any of these people believe in the filioque
of the Roman church above other churches?
Any of them?
So in this sense,
other than
Clement
Augustine, don't point
Catholic,
to Augustine.
But when he
Anyone
writes
else
about justification, he sounds kind of Protestant. Now we get to the rest of the fathers who lived before Constantine, Imperial Christianity, and the Council of Nicaea.
Here, wait. Who sounds kind of Protestant? Clement of Rome.
Clement was the leader of the church in Rome shortly after Peter, and he writes a letter to the Corinthians telling them to stop being so weird and immature, just like Paul's letter to the Corinthians. So this is an early example of the supremacy of the Roman church above other churches.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
So in this sense, Clement sounds kind of Catholic, but when he writes about justification, he sounds kind of...
And we too, being called by his will in Christ Jesus, are not justified by ourselves, nor by our own wisdom or understanding or godliness or works, which we have wrought in holiness of heart, but by that faith through which from the beginning Almighty God has justified all men. Yes, if you read that with the Protestant definition of all those words, then it becomes Protestant. But how can he be arguing in a Protestant way when that didn't exist for 1400 years? That's doesn't make any sense. That's like if I said, I don't know, these people in Africa 3,000 years ago, if I had some of their writing, look, they're speaking in an American way because they use the word freedom or something like that. It's just, that's a very not great example, but you know what I'm saying? Like, just, I don't know, something like that. make up your own example. I'm not. I can't always do it. Can't look at me for everything, you know. But that's just stupid. That's just stupid. I mean, was ancient Rome, were they American? They were American because I can say that they use some similar words to me. I don't care how they use them.
Now we get to the rest of the fathers who lived before Constantine, imperial Christianity, and the Council of Nicaea. They're facing a lot of external threats like persecution and false accusations, but also a lot of internal threats like heretics in the church. Remember, this is before Constantine, and the church is a lot less organized and established, so they can't simply ban the heretics, they have to use facts and logic. Justin Martyr is a Christian apologist, meaning he defends the faith against false accusations, such as the idea that Christians are atheists. He says we're not atheists because we do technically believe in the gods of the Romans and other religions, it's just that we think they're demons. He also believes in the Trinity, just like all of the Church Fathers, but it's not clear whether he believes the Son was personal before the Incarnation. Irenaeus has a lot of writings against heretics.
I didn't get that. I've read all of
Specifically
Justin. I didn't get
Gnostics who
that. I'd have
think
to
this
see what he means by
creation is
that.
evil, and they think they have secret oral traditions handed down to them from the apostles. But Irenaeus goes, that's not biblical, bro, and I'm going to debunk your beliefs. So I'm going to explain to the audience all of your lore in detail. Please no.
That sounds good. Let's do that.
These three kinds of existence, then, having according to them been
Sounds
now formed,
fun.
one from the passion, which was matter, a second from the conversion, which is animal, and the third, which she, Achamal, herself brought forth, which
Oh
is
my
spiritual.
gosh.
She next addressed her.
Oh my gosh. If you're gonna, I mean, I get the joke, but like, if you're gonna quote it, I had to actually pause it. I'm not gonna listen to the garbled speed. What does this say? I don't know.
Of Alexandria was most in favor of it. He was a big fan of Plato, and he even thought that God providentially prepared humanity for Christianity by making Greek philosophy come first in human history. Some of Clement's ideas include that Genesis does not teach a literal six-day creation, that there's a distinction between the visible church, which are outward members of the church, and the invisible church, which are true believers. Clement taught universalism, which is that everyone is going to be saved and have eternal life in the end.
Can you show me how or where? I mean, maybe.
Imagery.
Oh, he was against the thing that was in all the churches. Okay. So dumb. Even though we can look at all of the icons from the same time, he was against them. Okay. Yeah, Kyle is just redeemed, Zoomer, but actually redeemed.
Tertullian is kind of the opposite because he's very skeptical.
I haven't gotten to
philosophy and
yet.
Theology. He helped the church develop the idea of the Trinity. All the church fathers believed in the Trinity, but Tertullian is the first to use the word Trinity. Tertullian was premillennial, and he was against infant baptism. Let's go. Was he? Not so fast. The reason
here's what I mean. He's a heretic. He's a heretic. He died as a heretic. He's not a saint. I mean, potentially, I haven't read him. I can't speak to this. I mean, I'm not going to be able to. We've already gotten through most of the people I've read. I'm going through the ante-Nicene fathers right now. So, I mean, I'm not going to be able to, from just what's in my brain, be able to correct him all this. I don't know if he's ever read any of these people. Does he just see quotes and then interprets them through his own lens? That's kind of what we saw earlier when he's saying that this sounds kind of Protestant. Okay, man. All right.
He was against infant baptism is because he thought baptism washed away all past sins, but not future sins. So that means you should delay baptism as long as possible just to be safe. Tertullian believed in apostolic succession. Let's go. Not so fast. He was also an iconoclast.
He was also a heretic.
The Roman Empire not only legalizes Christianity, but makes it the state religion. So the Emperor Constantine wants to make sure all the churches in the Roman Empire are united. So he summons their leaders at the Council of Nicaea. Yo, what do you guys believe? Okay, we believe Jesus is human, and we believe Jesus is God. Wait a minute, said some guy named Arius. Jesus isn't really God. Dude, we've been over this. Yes, he is. No. Jesus was the Son of God, which means that God
like
created
actual,
Jesus, which means there
like
was a time when Jesus didn't exist.
Is that what it's going to be like in the future, these videos?
Bro, that's heresy, said Santa Claus, punching him in the face. Athanasius was at the Council of Nicaea, and he had to keep defending it because Arianism kept showing up. So he spent his whole life fighting Arianism, even though he was exiled 5 times for doing so. The church kept getting hijacked
Why is he
by
using
Arians,
Orthodox
but
icons for these
Athanasius
when he,
never
when
ran
he
away
sounds like
from
an
the church, and
iconoclast?
eventually he won. Athanasius has a lot of interesting statements. He talks about how the Holy Spirit proceeds from the Son, so that makes him seem more Western.
Okay,
but he
can we?
also
Is it? Let's see. My guess is that to be able to say he's speaking about the filioque and teaching it is to say he's talking about the temporal procession of the Holy Spirit after the Son ascends, which is not the same thing as hypostatically proceeding from the Son. Those are totally different things, and a lot of Protestants just don't understand that difference for some reason. Whatever the Spirit has, he has from the word Son. I mean, okay, but again, I need to see that in context. Whatever he has from the word Son. I mean, they would both have it from the Father. The Spirit has the same relation of nature and order with respect to the Son as the Son with respect to the Father. The Spirit has the same relation of nature and order with respect to the Son as the Son has respect with the Father. Yeah, they both get their that sounds like the monarchy of the Father to me. I mean, am I missing something? I don't know. Am I missing something, you guys? I don't know.
talks a lot about theosis and
God became, yep, there it is.
divinization, which makes him seem more Eastern. Either way, he's seen by almost all denominations as the greatest defender of Trinitarian orthodoxy, and that's why the Athanasian Creed, which talks about the Trinity, is named after him. One criticism he gets is the Cappadocian Fathers thought he didn't talk about the Holy Spirit as being distinct enough. Let's talk about them now. The Cappadocian Fathers all came after the Council of Nicaea. They're seen as the founders of the Eastern Christian theological tradition, and they're the heroes of the Council of Constantinople, which is the council that came right after the Council of Nicaea. Much
I saw
of
that.
Eastern Orthodox
I saw that
theology
little.
is based
I
on
saw
their
that
ideas.
little
Of
cursor.
the 3, Gregory of Nyssa is seen as the thinker of the bunch, and he's also kind of the hippie of the bunch because he had a very high view of women's rights for the time. He was very
I have to watch
anti-slavery,
this, you guys.
and he seemed to believe in
No
universal
shade.
salvation, that
Redeems,
everyone will be
but
saved in the end.
this is
Basil
definitely
the
not my
Great is kind of like the
content.
doer of the bunch, because he said Christians need to be building Christian schools and monasteries. He also held to a literal 6-day creation, so he definitely disagrees with those Alexandrian fathers who had a more metaphorical interpretation of
Can they
Genesis.
both be true?
Gregory
Or
of
can they both,
Nazianzus, or Gregory
I
the
don't know.
Theologian, is seen
This is
as
so.
the
It's too
speaker
much of
the
a
three. He talked a lot about Trinity.
a smoothing over paraphrase thing for me to actually see distinctions. He's just giving me his Yelp review of them. This person said this, and that's how I'm interpreting it. This person said this. It's like, what did they say? What was the context? It's just it's moving too fast. I don't know. What was it again? 6-day creation versus not 6-day. I didn't see any quotes or references, but I mean, maybe. I mean, the church fathers can disagree on details, and to me, the literal versus the metaphorical, or the 6 days versus the not 6 days, isn't the biggest issue. It doesn't have anything really to do with dogma. We've talked about this before, but both views can fit within the paradigm and not contradict anything. I think literal 6 days makes more sense, though.
Alexandrian fathers who had a more metaphorical interpretation of Genesis. Gregory of Nazianzus, or Gregory the Theologian, is seen as the speaker of the 3. He talked a lot about Trinitarian theology, saying that the Holy Spirit is a distinct person and is fully divine. And his ideas were very helpful for the Council of Constantinople, which affirmed the same thing. He also held to monarchical Trinitarianism, where divinity really belongs to the Father, and the Son and Spirit are only divine by extension of the Father. The Son is from the Father by begetting, and the Spirit is from the Father by procession. And there is a difference between these two things, but it's a mystery what that difference is. So Gregory probably didn't believe
that's
in
like
the filioque.
there's a lot of interesting things with like the consequences of Protestantism. Like they don't believe in saints, and a lot of them are like, we always need to reform. Every generation needs to reform. So I mean, like one thing I always think about, like when, like even John, our good buddy John, will say something like, you know, it doesn't. It's interesting, or I think Mark maybe say this too, but you know, maybe a typical Calvinist thing is, why do I need to look back at what these people thought? It's, you know, I have the Bible. I don't need to think that. But a lot of these claims saying, well, I don't, why do I need to do that? And look at these people. Like, how does that not fall on your own head too? Like in 100 years, people are going to look back at you as a Calvinist and be like, why do I care what he said? I got to reform the invisible church my own self. I got to recreate my own tradition. I don't care what you said. You're dead. You're dead. You're not, you know, you're not with God. You're dead. So it's just one of those weird things. I don't understand how they don't look at what they're saying into the future. Like the future generations is going to say the same things about you. It's like a very self-imploding tradition. Who decides which issues can be disagreed on? Who decides which issues can be disagreed on? That's a good question. Does anybody have an immediate answer? So to me, it would be, we look at the councils would be kind of like the top tier, and the synods and the canons have discussed a lot of these things. So we can't disagree. And it's not quite as rigid and like systematic as the Western approach. But there's lots of things that we would say are church dogmas that these are true. They're not. There's nothing about these dogmas that are false. But then there are things that, I mean, it's like, it's part of it's just like, talk to your spiritual father. They're going to know. Talk to your priest. They're going to know more than I will. I mean, this is like their whole life is pastoring people and answering these questions and studying and trying to help shepherd people. But there's a concept, the Greek term is called theologuma. Theologumena is the plural. Theologumenon is the singular. And that just means like what hasn't been revealed in our tradition. Like we're going to talk about stuff about the Garden of Eden. And it's like, well, it's my musings, my opinion, or my thoughts on this, but it's not dogma. It's not in like the teaching or tradition. You're getting into theologumenon, theologumena land, where you're speculating and such. So, I mean, which things can we disagree on? Like to me, like you can disagree on the things that don't contradict our dogma. Talk to your priest sounds like Protestantism with extra steps. I mean, that doesn't really follow to me. Like Protestantism would just be read the book. It tells you what it is. Where this is, hey, talk to the person that has the goods. It's kind of what I'm saying. But I mean, that's a pretty open-ended question. Which things can be disagreed on? People back then were dumb. Look at all the progress we made now. Obviously, we're smarter. I mean, like you can't disagree on canonized saints, for instance. If the church has canonized them, they're a saint. I can't just go, well, I think they're not a saint. I don't like them. You know, there's obedience and submission that an Orthodox Christian is choosing to go into, and I'm submitting myself to the church in that way. I can't go, oh, I think Origen really was a saint, even though he's been anathematized by the church. I don't have the authority to do that. I can't decide that. You know, I, as somebody who was Protestant coming into Orthodoxy, have a totally different understanding of obedience now. When I was being catechized, there's things I was learning about the church that I disagreed with. And I got to a certain point where I trusted the church because I'd seen the nature of the church and I'd seen the nature of the priests that I'd met. And I just decided I'm going to submit my understanding on these issues. And I'm just going to try to adopt the Orthodox view that I'm being told. And eventually I came around to actually believing them, even though it may have seemed like fake it till you make it. It was more like I'm not just going to choose to hold on to my own preconceived notions. Yes, instead of reading the book, the priest reads the book and decides, but obviously different people, even church fathers, can disagree on interpretation. Well, I mean, it's not about, it's a different order, because it's not about, we look at the book first. And then that, like, we're not doing sola scriptura. Like, scripture is just part of the tradition. So the people who are keeping the tradition are going to help hand it down to us. So when we're being catechized by the priest, he's helping you become a Christian. I just don't like. That's very different. Like, what part of being a Protestant and going to read the Bible helps you become a Christian? You know, it's like the incarnational aspect is hugely different, I think, between Protestant. I just don't see how that's Protestantism with an extra step, personally, distinction. I've noticed Orthodox fathers seem all to get scholarly about the faith. Protestants will tell a baptized OnlyFans thought she needs to start a missionary. I don't know if they'll say that. Will they? I mean, that's kind of crazy. And they might be like, for the Lord, she's repented. But yeah, I mean, it's a very different approach. You know, it's priests have authority in an actual hierarchy and structure ordained by a bishop. Yeah, like they're the person that catechizes you. That catechism is just the process of becoming a Christian. I mean, that's in a nutshell. But how do you know the priest is properly preserving the tradition? I mean, well, there is an aspect of faith when you are entering the Orthodox Church because you're unfamiliar with it. You're unfamiliar with the Orthodoxy because it's new to you. But once you have been traditioned, you become Orthodox. You're part of the laity. You have the Holy Spirit in you. You're able to see things that are opposed to the tradition. And it becomes very, very obvious to you, like Elpidophoros and his dubious baptisms and such. I mean, it doesn't seem hard to see that that's against the tradition. But there are priests out there that will teach people incorrect things. You know, like that happens. Can you ever decide that your priest is teaching falsely and go somewhere else? I mean, I did that personally. My first catechizing priest was an OCA priest that taught me a lot of new things about Orthodoxy, and he really broke down my Protestant worldview. But he was pretty ecumenist, and I mean, he's a really good, kind man, but he was pretty modernist. And as I got to accepting Orthodoxy more, and then talking to more Orthodox people, I started to see some of the errors in the things he said. So, yeah, I mean, I went to a different parish. Now I have a different spirit. The interesting thing is that first priest, they said a lot of things that became more and more dubious. Like he said, so at the end of the day, you're deciding not the priest. Protestantism with more steps. No, I don't agree, because it's totally different tradition, totally different religion, totally different gods that are being worshipped. So I just don't see it as Protestantism with more steps. Like, let's say you're a monk on Mount Athos, and you're looking for a spiritual father, an abbot. You can become a novice, and you don't decide right away that you're going to submit yourself under their authority. But once you do, then you're submitting, and you shouldn't rebel. But you're the one that decided to submit yourself under there. If you can decide the priest is wrong, the authority is not the priest, the church, it's you. I mean, they just don't understand. You don't have the Orthodox phronema. Part of the laity's job is to understand the Orthodox faith. I mean, clearly in the Bible it says that there will be wolves in sheep's clothing, and that people can be wrong. We don't believe in infallible priests, infallible bishops. If you can decide the priest is wrong, then the authority is not the priest or the church, it's you. How is me submitting my own authority to the church? And also, it's just one of those, it's like a Protestant Western mind of saying, if not this, then it has to be this. It's a false dilemma. I can submit myself to the church and the church's teachings, and I can go, there are people in the church who are flawed. What is the distinction? How does that make me Protestant? Because how am I a Protestant if I'm Orthodox? I just don't understand that. And also, let's say even if there's parallels or similarities with Protestantism or Protestant approach, how is that any different than this Redeemed Zoomer guy saying, look, they're using similar words, that means they're Protestant? It's like, just because there are similarities doesn't make it the other thing. How is that not like the composition fallacy or something like that? Like I said, Orthodox expects you to study the past, to know your stuff, not a progressive view of religion. Orthodoxy is passing down the torch to the next generation. Yeah, I mean, even like with this priest that had things wrong, we're not Donatists. Just because he had things wrong doesn't mean that he wasn't actually serving the real Eucharist, wasn't actually giving people absolution in confession. Yeah, it's just we don't have this black and white legalistic understanding. But good questions, distinction. Saint Ignatius says we should look at the bishop like the Lord himself. Yeah, and even when this somebody's wrong in their thinking or whatever, like you like I wouldn't be. And here's another distinction I was trying to get to with this priest that I left his parish and went to another parish. He told me explicitly, do not call me your spiritual father. I am not your spiritual father. I'm just a priest here. You are not my spiritual son. This is what he told me. So to me, I'm not under his authority the same way as my current priest, who I've asked to be my spiritual father, and he's taken me on as a spiritual son. I have submitted myself under his authority. The first priest, I was not even a catechumen yet. I was an inquirer asking questions. There was no submission of my obedience underneath him. I'm using Protestant somewhat rhetorically. My point is that I don't see how you get away from being your own authority. I mean, I, as my own authority of my own personhood, decided to submit my authority to Orthodoxy, and Orthodoxy is my authority. But I submitted myself to it, just like a Protestant with their own authority would submit their authority to their understanding of the Bible. That's the difference. I think they think they're submitting themselves to God and the Bible, but really they're submitting themselves to themselves because it's just their own understanding, their own intellect, their own interpretation. And I have relinquished my own interpretation, and I have tried to acquire the mind of Orthodoxy, the mind of the Church. So there's personal sovereignty happening in either side, but I just don't see how that equals one-to-one. I am a Protestant and doing a Protestant approach. Yeah, I mean, you guys want to get this out of here? What goofy conspiracy stuff y'all want to talk about? I got like another hour. Distinction: once you submit yourself and choose your spiritual father, you cannot rebel. Whatever he tells regarding the faith, you have to obey. Yeah, I mean, and even then, even if once I, as a sheep, have submitted myself to a pastor, to a shepherd, then even if he's wrong and I'm not perfectly passed down every part of the tradition, if he has misunderstandings in his phronema, if he has some kind of modernism or something like that, the pastor is much more responsible than the person that's submitted themselves to them. So there's examples of saints who had really terrible spiritual fathers. There's one I can think of that as a monk who had an abbot, was a spiritual father, and the abbot was cruel to him, would beat him, and I believe it brought him to an early grave, the person that was submitting. But because he never rebelled and he had the obedience, even though there was harshness happening, there was dysfunction. That man that was beaten was purified, and the elder that did that to his own spiritual son ended up understanding the damage that he'd caused and the hurt that he'd done, and he repented. So it's like they saved each other. So I mean, even though it obviously, from a human perspective, would be better if they just lived more kumbaya the whole time. That's the story. They saved each other through that obedience. So in theory, I could submit myself to a Protestant pastor and it's okay. No, I'm not the judge. So if you want to submit yourself to a Protestant pastor, that's going to have its own consequences, but they don't have the tradition. They don't have the apostolic succession. They're not going to be able to give you the sacraments. You're not going to be united to Christ. Is a woman the authority over her husband if she chooses to follow him, since she ultimately was the one to decide? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to get at. Yeah, like the woman chooses the husband. She has to say yes or no when a man proposes. But does that make her the head of the household? I mean, there is personal agency on either side. So apostolic succession while teaching falsely is better than having no lineage but speaking the truth. Yeah, I'd say so. I would say so. Off, immediate reaction. It is better to be in the church and connected to Christ and be about people. So let's break it. Put it in other words. Is it better to be a part of the body of Christ, but be malformed in your thinking or teaching, or is it be better to be separated from Christ, but in your mind have less malformed teaching? I mean, well, that's if you had the truth, you'd be part of the church. So you couldn't be speaking the full truth if you're outside the church. And there's even, who was it? Gosh, there's a early bishop from like the maybe even Redeemed Zoomer just mentioned him, that heretics can even have 100% correct teachings. They may not have no errors, but they've chosen to walk away from the church. Then they're schismatics. Sorry, not heretics. You can be a schismatic. You can separate yourself from Christ and believe everything orthodox. But if you're not taking the Eucharist, you're not connected to Christ, then you're not part of the body. I appreciate everyone's willingness to answer my questions. Feel like I derailed the stream. I mean, and again, I'm just a layman. I'm giving you my initial reactions. I'm sure, given enough time and thought and trying to, tackle your questions honestly, I would be able to give you better answers. And I can ask, I oftentimes people ask me this stuff. I'll just copy and paste these kind of questions to my spiritual father and get his understanding, because my understanding is limited. If you have the truth, you're part of the church, but if you have part of the church, you don't necessarily have the truth. So if you have the truth, no, I mean, that's what I was just trying to say with the schismatics. You can have all of the academic things. You can get 100% on the chest on all the right answers of what is the faith. You can be like, if I asked you everything there is to know about Orthodoxy and Christianity, in the year 100 AD, you got everything right, but you chose to not be in the church, and you're outside of the church, you're outside of Christ, then you're not a part of the vine. You haven't been grafted in. The spiritual healing comes from being connected to Christ, taking the sacraments. Oh my gosh, my answers decide whether you join the true church. Everyone pray for me. Pray for me. I got to be ready for this. I need more coffee. I can't. This is my eternal soul's on the line now. I mean, I'm going to be judged for this, Shoot. I thought we were going to have a good old stream of watching lizard people. And here I am. My eternal status is in jeopardy. Gosh. Yeah, I mean, distinction. I don't got no problems with you. Thank you for, I want you to ask questions. I want everybody to seek truth. I believe truth is orthodoxy. You can use your reason to understand a priest is wrong, the obedience to him and the obedience to the church by asking another priest in the hierarchy, not contradicting. Yeah, I don't think he's necessarily being, I think these are legalistic kind of questions, but I think he's asking to try to get the answers. I don't think he's being bad faith. Smoke some cigarettes. Andrew gets thanked for a new convert to Orthodoxy every stream. I smoke. My wife would be very upset with me if I smoke cigarettes. I smoke a pipe. I don't smoke no cigarettes. Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, if you want to hop on, here's the link. Yeah, but you're welcome here at Distinction. I'm trying to read everybody else's chats while I'm answering. Did anybody have questions on any of that? Did any of that make sense? I'm trying to answer these questions the best I can. And again, yeah, if you have the part, let me read this one again. If you have the truth, you're part of the church. But if you're a part of the church, you don't necessarily have the truth. Yeah, I mean, because our understanding is that you don't have to have a full and rational intellectual understanding of the truth to be saved. I think that can be and is a part for most people's lives, because Jesus Christ came to save the whole man, not just your rational intellect or anything. He came to save you in your entirety. And like we look at examples like Saint Augustine, he had many errors in his thinking, in his rationality, because he was in Theologumena land. In his writings, he would say, like, I am just using my human reasoning to try to understand these things about God, and if I am incorrect, then I'm willing to be corrected. So I mean I don't think he was prideful in his musings, but from the Orthodox perspective and from the councils and everything, he had things wrong, but he was still saved. He's a saint. He's a holy man, and you don't have to have everything. You don't have to get 100% on right on the intellectual test to be saved. So glory to God. I mean, I would never get in. None of us are 100% wrong because we're made in the image of God, but no individual is 100% right because we are still human. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and when you become, we believe when you are baptized, we call it illumination. So to be able to understand the things of God, especially on a deeper level than just intellectual, rational, and when you're baptized and filled with the Holy Spirit, then you're illumined and you're able to have the purity of heart, like Jesus says in the Sermon on the Mount, the pure in heart will see God. So if you're able to walk the spiritual life and have that faith, if you have the faith to walk the spiritual life and get your noose done, cleaned up, it's all dirty and gross, then you'll be able to understand the things of God because you'll be able to see clearly with your spiritual eyes. Yeah, you can be a part of the church. You don't have to be a part of the church to have the academic truth. Yeah, you can have the academic truth without being a part of the church. You can be a part of the church without the academic truth. There's people who, I mean, at my church, at my parish, there's several autistic people. There's people that have Williamson's disease. There are people who are like 57 at my parish that have the understanding of a 5-year-old because they have a mental, I'm trying not to use the word retarded, trying not to, but yeah, they're retarded. And they're, glory to God, they're part of the church, are taking the sacraments. It's not everybody's different. Like Brother Nathaniel says, we ain't cookie cutter Christians. We're not all the same person. Where do you guys want to take this? I mean, distinction. Yeah, you did disrail it, but it was good. It's good. Thank you for helping me think these things out. If I had any deficiencies in my answers, if I could have answered them better, or if I said anything that any people say think that I got wrong, or maybe half truth, I'm open to correction. I don't got everything right. Am I an acolyte? No, I have. I was asked to serve at the altar once, but so many people said yes when Gondor why can't I think of Lord of the Rings terms right now? When Gondor called for aid, right? It's not. Yeah, Gondor. My brain kept saying no, Rohan, but that's not true. When Gondor called for aid of acolytes, so many people said yes, that it was not needed for me. And people at my church have been trying to get me in the choir for so long. They've been trying to do it. They've been trying to get me in the choir. Hello, Jacob.
Got the co-host in the house.
My
The co-host.
headphones died again.
I'm watching tennis.
Oh, you hearing the and the ah? Are there any weird weird tennis? Are there any weird tennis conspiracies? Like, are they all cameras spying on us from the government?
Honestly, don't know. There's like I looked up today. There literally the half of the top 10 is Orthodox.
What's the conspiracy there? Is it going to be like hey, what's the disproportionate number of Orthodox people in tennis? Just like how what's the disproportionate what's with the disproportionate number of tunnel snakes in in Hollywood?
Just because Eastern Europeans are very good at tennis.
Well, hey, what conspiracy candy you want to eat, huh?
Nothing, honestly, nothing. I don't know. I ain't no conspiracy fiend.
You ain't? We could go back to that 5-hour video from Dustin.
Nah, man. Don't do that, bro.
Anybody got anything funny? I'm just here to have a good old time because yesterday was chill stream and it was definitely a bit spicy. So,
guys,
I don't know. Hey, Logan, I feel like
I fixed up my streaming verification. You
Oh,
heard
I
me?
see. Oh, I see.
So
You just came on here
so
to self-promote, huh?
so there's the possibility that I do a stream tomorrow. You heard me?
Man, your
Or we
whole
can
life is
do
changed. I like
a
how like 2
conjoined.
days ago you're like, my dad would never approve of me being on your stream. I have my own stream, y'all. Please subscribe. my,
Uh,
my daddy's gonna
um,
disown me, but it's okay. Please send a super chat. Please send a super chat. I'm on the
listen,
street.
listen. We should probably do like a conjoined, like you do your stream, and I start at the same time because my 24 hours will be up exactly at the same time. You heard me?
Man, I gotta be careful when John Mondragon joins the stream because he makes me laugh, and I try to. For some reason, I'm holding it in, so it goes into like a. And he's like, "You fart, bro?" I'm like, "No, it's like when you stifle a sneeze or a cough or a laugh. It just comes in as a snort. That's what happens." But well, I don't know. What do you guys want to look at? Like, I want to know more about that moon wave.
The moon, beaver.
The moon wave.
You got to overstand the moon.
Yes, cat. What's up? Cat scratching me. You don't got no conspiracy to look at. What's going on with Antarctica, huh? I should have had more.
It don't exist.
Had more things pulled up, but
It don't exist.
Antarctica don't exist.
It won't be gonna exist because there's the global warming, and it gonna move away and disappear, and we gonna be flooded because the global warming. We are burning here.
That's funny. Skeptic. That I was just pulling that video up. Let's look at it. So this is saying dinosaurs never existed. If we could only realize that dinosaurs didn't exist, finally I can be a good father.
So I was reading the news and I read about how the other day they found all these dinosaur footprints in Beijing. So I did some Googling on the topic about dinosaurs and whether or not they're real. And I found out there's actually a book called How to Make Your Own Dinosaur out of chicken. It really got me thinking.
I made them
is
in
there
like the water,
a whole group of people, a whole huge group of people that are actually fabricating evidence to perpetuate the myth of dinosaurs for whatever reason. Back in the day, archaeologists and paleontologists were all new. Maybe they just wanted to have a job and they just gave themselves a name, paleontologists, and it over time just got totally blown out of proportion. I mean, all science really starts as theory, right? There's a whole bunch of dinosaurs that really look like animals that we know about. Dinosaurs also kind of look like giraffes, elephants, rhinoceros.
She kind of looks like Andrea with the glasses.
Apparently, there have been no dinosaur discoveries that we know of before the late 1800s, which I thought was pretty odd. I mean, how come the Native Americans never found any dinosaurs?
Yeah, why weren't they like digging and
some
stuff?
Evidence of these dinosaurs were found in the late 1800s and the early 1900s, but it's not just that. There were a lot of discoveries made during that period. I mean, it's kind of like one person maybe got the idea, and then all of a sudden everybody was doing it. And it just seems convenient to me that all of these dinosaur remains were found when there was a whole bunch of people that stood to profit off of these discoveries. It's not just archaeologists and paleontologists, but also think about it, Hollywood. Like, how many millions of dollars did Jurassic Park make? Maybe you guys just want to believe what a science book or your teacher says without ever really thinking about it for yourself and actually thinking, wow, this really doesn't make sense. How come a dinosaur skeleton has never been discovered by a random person, like a farmer or a hiker or anything?
Would that
it's always
person get media coverage?
Paleontologists or archaeologists who all stand to
all these people who are like going and like looking for it. Why are they?
That sounds like a good idea to me. Make something up and then make money off of it. Like I could sit here and say, you know what? I found out that unicorns are really real, and then put together using clay or whatever they use a unicorn skeleton, and then maybe people will believe that's unicorns used to exist too. And how come the bones can only be seen someplace where you have to make a donation? Like, how come I never see it just like at the side of a road with like a bunch of flowers and crap around it, like the
Yeah, like when I'm driving down the street and there's like a ditch on the side, why isn't there like a half like little pygmy elephant thing sticking up in the tar pit? Why don't I ever see that? Oh, John, come back. This, I mean, she submitted herself to this theory pretty quickly, just after a couple Googling. So, I mean, submissive wife, probably wife material. I mean, what do you think, John? Are you convinced?
Honestly, that's what's up.
I wanted to say that I played Red Dead Redemption, and I found all the dinosaur bones.
Whoa.
Therefore, I believe in dinosaur.
You know, I just find it convenient that these dinosaurs were never found until we made video games about it. I mean, that sounds a little suspicious to me.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That's crazy that you and I came to the opposite conclusion about the same thing, you know?
But now I'll believe it.
I just realized, why is she doing her video in her closet?
Yeah, she is in the closet, you know? You know that Norm Macdonald, oh my gosh, I can't speak. Norm Macdonald joke that he's deeply closeted? You know, that was pretty funny. I'm a deeply closeted gay man. Did you just come out? No, I would never come out. I'm deeply closeted.
Oh, yeah. Was that like on Conan or something?
Yeah, I think something like, or Letterman or something like that. I can't remember. I'm a deeply closeted black man. I would never come out as black.
I heard this theory once about
Yeah.
the creation, where like the Earth could be millions of years old.
Yeah.
Because God created it, and He's in control of time. Just like how He made the wine, how Jesus made the wine at the wedding, and it was the perfect wine. And in order to have perfect wine, it has to be aged wine.
Right. So he just like pressed play, but he put it on like 500% speed, right?
I guess, or he just created everything out of million.
Isn't it not wine? Isn't it like holy water or something? Isn't it like
in
it
the Bible?
tasted like wine?
I mean, in the Bible, at the wedding in Cana, it says that it was wine, and they said that like you brought out the good wine at the very end. Normally, people are drunk and they just give us the piss wine. So,
yeah.
I thought it was. I thought it was like, it
might be a symbol of holy water.
Something they never tasted before, something like that. It says.
I mean, we can look at the text, but I mean, I believe it says like.
What's the text?
I mean,
can we read it? I'm honestly interested.
Okay, we're gonna read the Bible now. What are we, Protestants? We're reading the Bible. But I personally think that the Earth was created in 6 days, and that it was created with time. That's my thoughts. Because Adam was created in an instant, but he wasn't no little baby. He wasn't a fetus. He didn't have to grow up. He was just brought forth. So it was like he was created with a backstory. I have so many tabs. It's like I'm Nadim. What is happening?
But this tennis match is crazy, super tight.
I don't need to hear that, dude.
Super tight, super hot fire.
Okay. The wedding at Cana. On the third day, there was a wedding at Cana in Galilee. His mother and the mother of Jesus was there. Let's find the wine part. Fill the jars with water, and they filled them to the brim. And he said to them, now draw some out and take it to the master of the feast. So they took it. When the master of the feast tasted the water, now become wine, and did not know where it come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew, the master of the feast called the bridegroom and said to him, everyone serves the good wine first, and when people have drunk freely, then the poor wine. But you have kept the good wine until now. This is the first signs of Jesus did at Cana in Galilee. It manifested his glory, and the disciples believed in him. Yeah, I mean, the text says wine, but I feel like you could make a connection between holy water because it was water that became holy through the divine energies of Jesus. But it says the word wine, as far as I know in the English translation. Yeah, I mean, like, are we allowed?
Translation.
Am I allowed to do
it?
Yes. Yeah, we can tell that the Bible is unreliable because the Greek clearly says champagne, and champagne wasn't invented. Let's look it up. Champagne.
And you know, Chardonnay, but it was actually
obviously,
mulatto.
It don't even matter when champagne was invented because it says champagne, and guess what? They were in Cana. Only champagne is from Champagne.
Yeah,
that would have said if it was true, it would have said sparkling wine. It wouldn't have said champagne.
Do you know Cana is suggested to be in Lebanon? So Christ performed his first miracle in Lebanon. Look how crazy that is.
It says wine, but you need thousands of years of tradition to know for sure. I mean, ha 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 ha. I mean, it's definitely not grape juice. I mean, come on. And most people save the good Welches for the beginning. And John? What's your favorite conspiracy?
My favorite conspiracy is the flat earthers.
Okay. Did you watch the conversation I had with a flat earther like 2 weeks ago, or whatever?
No, I didn't.
I never really looked into all of it. I just had a conversation with a flat earther, and he had a lot of interesting things to say.
Those
ones, and like that other guy touched on it yesterday when he was saying like, we don't build no more cathedrals, and we don't build no more buildings out of stone, and blah 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 blah. And they always go back to this one cathedral. I can't remember what it was like.
We can't build the stuff that was built before.
The pyramids.
Yeah,
we can't build
clearly
the pyramids
hasn't seen Russia.
Yeah, and like he was like, they always refer to this one cathedral. I can't remember where it is. That like, you see, we can't build that no more. And it's like
what?
That cathedral actually took 600 years to build. Like, they built it, but it took them 600 years to build it.
What would that be?
Yeah, it's not because they stopped building it, because they stopped having the fullness of the faith that it's wrong, you know. If you go to the actual people that have the fullness of the faith, they're still building huge cathedrals. Like, go to Russia. Like, look how beautiful their new cathedrals.
Those are the Freemasons.
Brother, what are you saying, man?
Explain
explain to John what happened to me after the.
So the day before the flat earther discussion, Nadeem was like, "Set him straight, brother. You smack him in the face and tell him what's for." And then a half hour into the stream, he was like, "I actually have questions now."
You rattled my brain.
I think you gave me the rot.
No, then after I'm like, okay, now I don't believe in any of this stuff.
You're like, now I'm just a skeptic in general.
And I don't care. I don't care completely what the shape of the Earth is anymore.
You guys ever heard of Tartaria? I never looked into that, but apparently that's a meme.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit of Tartaria.
Is it like the land of fish eggs?
Land of the giants, something like that.
Where geographically was it supposed to be?
I have no idea. I can't remember.
So Dustin sent me these screenshots of something about the moon. So this is what am I looking at? Is this the Earth? We got
Earth?
Terra Vista. I mean, this ain't what part of the Earth is this? That's Australia.
No, I know this ain't Earth. I ain't seen no America.
Yeah, where's the America? Is this
Suplaugen?
Is the America over like there?
Sup, dog?
How you explain if the Earth is flat? How you explain that when I travel from America to Japan, it's not that much time?
Yes, Dustin.
Oh, so what you know is they put the video up on the screen, but they make you think the screen is the window, and they actually just fly around the edge of the ice wall.
No, I need an actual answer.
So what we're looking at here, those circles are pathways of the sun. All right, not the dark red circles, but the very, very vague ones. Those 3 concentric circles.
Oh,
those are vague circles.
You say what's up when you start talking?
Yes. That's the path of the sun. All right. So, the one that's in the middle of the three, that would be like the equator of the sun.
Oh, so if if this is flat, then this is the route that the sun is moving around. Does it go in a spiral? Why are there three?
Yes, because that is the seasons.
Oh,
that's the seasons. The one that's the outermost would be the northern hemisphere's winter time, and the one that is the innermost concentric circle would be the northern hemisphere's summertime. That's why you can see there in the bottom right corner, there's Australia.
Yeah.
And then the North Pole would be in the middle. You have to imagine a flat Earth model here. And then and I think I circled those two circles are supposed to be. I was talking with someone else trying to figure out where North America is. I think the one in the upper right corner is North and South America, or dude, it's such a goofy looking map, but basically if you hold this map up to like the moon, you see the dark circles. So, and also what they are claiming is that like every 30 or 50,000 years, those circles shift to another quarter, like, quartal region. So like the circles move in a clockwise fashion. So like 50,000 years from now, the path of the sun is going to be, say, like right now it's at what, like 5 o'clock. In another 50,000 years, it's going to be at like 8 o'clock or something, 7 or 8 o'clock to the left. And then another 50,000 years after that, it's going to be at like noon. That's what they're claiming.
Like right now, flat Earth continental drift.
Yeah, like continental drift, but of the sun.
A flat earther.
It's so wild, dude. This is like.
Wait, so is that white outline around everything? Is that the ice wall?
Yes, that would be like the ice wall, the outermost region.
So
yeah, and
my immediate.
So where are the Lemurians on this map?
Where's what?
Where are the Lemurians?
In that black spot in the middle would be like. What they're saying is that there's another sun or luminary underneath the surface of the Earth, and that black dot in the middle that they're calling the central vortex, that points upwards, that enlightens outward towards the moon. It's so wild, dude.
Wait, what did the other guy believe? Did he believe there was an ice wall? The guy that came on.
I think so. He's pretty careful. I've asked him questions in the DMs, just like thoughts I had, and he's very careful to be like, if I don't have access to it, if I can't test it my own self, I can't tell you what it is. I can only speculate, and that's not very useful. So, I mean, he only talks about things that he feel comfortable with talking about like that.
I mean,
so I don't know if
he's right about like we can't believe what NASA says, or we can't believe what
lots of dubious things
the elites say. But I mean, I don't know how that doesn't prove flat Earth. It just proves that
that the current model is dubious. The immediate thing I notice here is, okay, there's the known world and the unknown world. But if you've told us the shape of the unknown world, then it's the known world now. You just colored it a different color.
That's the problem with them, is like when flat earthers, when they say they want to debate the shape of the Earth. So I've done a couple of debates with them before.
Well, the reason it's called the unknown world is because those are the dark spots on the moon. They're looking at the moon, and they're making it match this map. They're calling that a map. That's why it's unknown. They see the dark spots and they're like, oh, those dark spots in the bottom right corner kind of look like the flat Earth map. So the rest of the moon is also a map. It's like so schizo, dude.
No, but if their idea is wrong, it doesn't mean the spherical Earth is correct. So just shows that they're
So they're
dumb.
saying
They're
that you can look at the moon and then that tells you the unknown land masses. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. To the it like 3 o'clock, right there, where the moon is on the left side at about the 3 o'clock part of the disk. That would be the quote unquote known world. It's right there, dude. Can't you see it?
I'm having
Right,
trouble
so-
with the jump.
Over on that first map you pulled up, I love how it called one of the like uncharted areas Terra Victa, not Invicta, but Victa.
Terra
as in
Vista?
Is it Terra Vista?
Terra Vista.
Interesting. I thought it was Victa at first. I was like, why is it the conquered land?
It's a very low res. I can't read a lot of these things. What does this one say? Assassin. This looks like it says assassin there to me, but it's so low res. I don't know.
What is that one?
That
was
isn't Jube a flat earther?
Jube is a globe skeptic. He doesn't he thinks there's question marks in the official model. I believe is his position.
Okay, like me now.
Yeah, I believe you and Jube are similar skeptics.
What do you think the shape of the world Earth is, Nadim?
I don't know, man.
So, from my understanding of what, let's just say Jube's position is, I've talked to him a little bit about it, or even my friend who's a good guy and a flat earther, is it's kind of like I can't know that the Earth is flat. I kind of believe it is, and I feel like I have evidences for it. But what I can be more confident in is the official model of modernity is wrong. So if it is a globe, it'd be a different size. It'd be a different model than the one that we have now because it doesn't account for certain things.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I agree with that statement.
I mean, I just can't wait to spread awareness of flat Earth all around the globe. That's what I want to get to.
All around the globe.
I mean, that's what we need. So, why do you guys think that people still wear masks, huh? I mean, that's
well,
weird.
I have a more important question for you.
Okay.
Do you think with enough manpower we can tear down the patriarchy?
I mean, obviously. I mean, it's kind of like, can God lift a rock so big he can't lift it, or whatever?
Do you think with a good patriarchy you could take down patriarchy?
I mean, isn't that just what war is?
No, I mean patriarchy and as a whole. That's what Logan just said.
I think that's like a zero-sum game. I think we'd all be dead. That's like nuclear war.
You ain't understanding what I'm saying.
No, I'm understanding.
If we had enough manpower, could we tear down the patriarchy?
Yes, and I'm saying that would look like nuclear war. Everyone's dead.
Yes.
If that happened.
I mean, I would agree because reality is in and of itself patriarchal.
Yes. You know, there's people with masks still walking around out there. Or do they think that they're actually in danger, or is it just like an antisocial thing? Because I remember.
No, they think they're in China. Okay.
Oh, it is disproportionately Asian people, I will say.
Yeah, I know over there it's fairly common. Like if you're feeling at all sick, they'll put on like masks and stuff because they don't want other people to get sick. Which in that case, especially because it is a cultural thing, I actually kind of approve of it. That's actually kind of good that they're trying not to get everybody else sick. But
yeah, for them it's more of like a decency thing.
Yeah.
Thing.
As to over here where it's people losing their minds thinking that a quarter-inch thick piece of fabric is going to save them from what is in their mind the Black Plague.
I mean, I think part of, because I still see some people in masks. It's maybe 1 in 10 people around here, maybe probably less than that, but you see it like every day. Still, really? I think
I am.
My hope is that I'm correct in this, and that I remember when the whole thing happened, and I had a lot of friends my age who were like thankful that the mask thing was happening because it gave them excuses to not interact with people, and they're like, I can go out anywhere now, and I don't have to like pretend to care about the small talk, and I don't have to look at people or whatever. I can finally be the
that's
introvert
just
I wanted to
sad.
be. And
That's
I
just
wonder if
sad.
there's somebody like that like the conservative looks at the person wearing the mask and they're like, wow, what this crazy person, and they're just like, I am in my bubble. I'm in my happy place.
Are
If
we
I
allowed?
see a
That's sad.
person, if I see somebody like in their car alone with the mask on,
Oh, that's
for me, I'm just
wild.
like, there's no way we can ever have a decent conversation.
Right.
Are we allowed to talk about masks on YouTube? Is that against TOS? Should we go back to talking about black people?
Well, a lot of black people wear masks.
We're just talking about masquerades. I mean, there's a Halloween coming up. You know, if we contextualize it, then we can talk about anything, I think.
Yeah, Cinco de Mayo was just not too long ago.
Y'all are invited to my 24th birthday. It's going to be a very formal event. Go ahead and bring your ball gowns and masquerade masks.
Well, I didn't know you were such a child. You're like right up there with apophatic there, Logan.
No. I'm a little older than 8. It's fine.
Brother, where is apophatic? I missed that.
I don't know. I scared him away with all my daycare jokes. I didn't mean to do it, but I did.
When they say you're like 12, but you're actually 14 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
The last time he was in his car with his mama getting some groceries. So
I was putting my tinfoil hat on earlier, and I was thinking like, what if Karunka 2.0 is an actual deadly virus and people actually die this time because they're so jaded from the first go was so mild and limp-wristed that people don't take it seriously, and they're like, I don't, I saw last time what this pandemic looked like, so I don't have to take it seriously. But it's an actual pandemic and people die because they're not taking it seriously. Is that the move? Make us complacent and jaded?
I think Yakub is the moon.
That's very poetic and romantic there, Nadim.
Yep.
What do you guys think? Is there something? Is there another thing coming down the pipeline?
No, my opinion on it is, I think I'm kind of in the. I'm in my own camp here. Everyone thinks the collapse is coming. They think it's going to be chaos and craziness. I don't believe any kind of hard collapse or event like that's going to happen. I believe everything's going to be as controlled as they can for the slow choke. The slow choke is the most effective, in my opinion. Look at what they did already with the COOF. They're not going to do anything like that. They don't, like, people say, oh, depopulation. Well, they don't need to do that. The birth rates are already so low.
Right. Just through the rhetoric and the changing the culture, they're doing that over time.
You don't believe in eat the bugs. We got to eat the bugs, so we can depopularize the people.
I mean, Distinction saying give it another 20 years. I mean, when everything was rolling out, like in 2021, I didn't know how bad things were going to keep getting. So it's definitely changing my.
He's gonna win. You want to watch?
You watching your gay
the
tennis?
last point. You calling me gay?
But I
Didn't your mama think
became.
you're gay?
Hey man, maybe he's just enjoying
Just
watching some midget wrestling. Oh, okay.
Hey, look at him. Nadim, can you give us your best tennis voice when they hit the ball? It's like that, isn't it?
He won.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of stuff like this, Oma. Lots of create the problem so we can give you the solution kind of stuff. All right, Nadim, you can't just be showing me tennis. I'm sorry.
Do they create the problem and sell the solution, or do they create the solution and then find the problem?
I mean, both probably can happen. There's a hardcore album out there I want y'all to listen to. It's called Omni Part 1 by Project 86. You might not like the genre. I recommend, especially if you're not used to the genre, that you listen to it with the lyrics on. But it's about this fictional world where AI is taking over everything, and it has nothing to do with reality. But you should go listen to this album. It's quite good. Really good lyrics. Recommend it. They're also crazy good live. Very good concert.
So, with all this AI stuff going on, when is my Texas Instruments TI-84 calculator going to murder me in my sleep?
I would definitely keep it in a lock and key when you're not looking at it at all times.
Gotcha.
Keep the key on you too. Never leave it anywhere, because you never know if like the microwave or your vacuum's gonna run interference.
Oh,
Did I hear
well, I
right
mean,
that Nadim watches midget wrestling?
That's a euphemism, actually.
is it a euphemism?
Yeah, I think you can put the dots together. But yeah, it's definitely a
Oh.
euphemism.
If it is a euphemism, I need to be careful. I got invited to go watch some midget wrestling with some guys at my unit.
Midgets scare me for some reason. Like
I have a Russian
I
friend
would-
who seems to be
I would
obsessed with
rather-
midgets for some reason.
I would rather
Midget?
face like a
Midgets?
7-foot black guy than a fucking midget running at me. Like, oh god!
Have you heard the question? Would you rather fight what is it?
Hello.
A horse-sized duck or a dozen duck-sized horses in a battle to the death? Which would you rather fight?
Big duck.
Big duck.
Yeah, I'll probably go with the big duck. Their necks are very easy to snap.
But I mean, that's a lot. It's like, I mean, what's the proportion?
Yes, that is a lot of duck.
That's a lot of duck. You guys like duck? Duck is tasty.
Duck is tasty.
Duck is pretty dang
You have
good.
any idea how strong that giant duck would be, dude? It would gobble you up. One bite.
Just like one flap of his wings just knock you on your butt. He's like,
Definitely a dozen duck-sized horses, dude. That's like fighting rabbits at that point.
You just step on them.
You just step on them. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Dustin. Okay, 100. Does that change? 100 duck-sized horses versus one.
No, dude, you could turn it into 1,000,000. That's just more dinner. Seriously, it's like fighting.
Yeah.
It's like fighting
more
chickens.
horse meat.
Nothing to it.
Nadim would just bring out his tennis racket. Just
Cut them into tiny squares for cooking up later.
I mean, seriously, who's actually afraid of like 1,000 chihuahuas?
I don't know. Chihuahuas. I do not fear them, but
I mean, chihuahuas are basically
near
just
them.
big rats. You don't know if they have the Black Plague.
I did something very, very horrible to a chihuahua once. To my ex-wife's
Yes?
chihuahua once. Yeah. Like,
Wait, on purpose?
hated the thing. Yeah, on purpose. I hated it. I hated the thing so fucking much. Like, and it wasn't potty trained or anything like that. And it would just like pee and poop all over the carpet. And this was like my first apartment where I was just like super just like tight about everything. Like, I don't want to mess anything up and lose my deposit. And then one day, like, it's just like I got home from work and it like walked out of the room and just took the biggest dump like right in the carpet. I was just so I grabbed it and I took it to the shelter.
You got rid of it?
Yeah, and I got rid of it. And then
Okay,
my
I
wife
thought that was
came
gonna be
back
like
home. No, I didn't. I wanted to, but I was like, no.
All right, I
And then
believe
my
you.
wife got home and she was just like, "Where's Taco?" I was like, "I don't know. When I got home, the door was wide open."
Is this? Does she know this? Does she know this?
No. She's already remarried and gone. That was like when I was like 18 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that why she's an ex-wife now?
No, she's an ex-wife now because after like once I got a scholarship to go play baseball in Las Vegas, she didn't want to go. She's like, I don't want to move to Las Vegas. I'm like, I just got a scholarship to play baseball.
in Vegas.
Was it for tennis?
Nuega.
For tennis, it was for baseball. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm moving to Las Vegas to do this. And then she's like, well, I'm not. I'm like, all right.
What was your favorite thing about Vegas?
The women.
Oh yeah, I
That's
guess
when I was
being
that's when I
a
was
free man
raging.
suddenly.
Yeah, that's when I was a raging DJ.
Dejin? Yeah.
So we were in clubs pretty much every night and all that. And then like one of the guys on our baseball team, his dad was a manager at this club Marquee at the Cosmopolitan. So we were able just to get in, have our own VIP tables, and basically do whatever we want.
Someone's asking if you played at UNLV.
Yes.
University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Is that a lawnmower?
Yeah, sorry. My neighbor has paid Mexicans to do yard work right next to me.
At least it's not me making all the noise this time.
Well, man, you'll say something Christian. Say something Christian. The women, crap.
I was like, oh, well, I wasn't going to church or doing anything like that when I was down there.
Yeah, Vegas isn't exactly the city I expect to hear good Christian things about.
No.
You guys think Bush did 9/11?
I think he was in cahoots. I think he knew about it. I don't think he did it.
I think 9/11 was AI generated. The Twin Towers never even existed. You can't find them in history books. They never existed. The only time that the Twin Towers were ever talked about was that event.
What about Home Alone 2? What about Home Alone 2?
That's a movie, dude. It's not real.
When was the last time you were in New York? Did you see them there?
Dude, they weren't real. You can't prove it to me, all right?
Can you prove to me that the past exists?
Of course not, dude. Duh.
I just love. I don't know. I literally had a dream. This is like where I know that I'm looking at my comments section.
You had a dream?
I had a dream. This one goes out to
well,
George
at
Floyd
least
and
you
his
aren't
family.
in Memphis anymore.
What do you think of the dancing JOOs?
Like when they like.
That's exactly what I said. We can't talk about on YouTube.
You're supposed to the proper code word that nobody really picked up on is pews. We have to remove the pews.
I thought we were
Seriously, it's
talking about
ruining all of
bagels.
our Orthodox churches.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't agree with that. I know several Pew converts, but I don't like the.
You
okay,
Pew
yeah,
loving dummy.
Just call them tunnel snakes. Call them tunnel snakes. Snakes in tunnels. Can we say that still?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I had a dream about this comment section with atheists trying to convince me that under physicalism, that the past is material, and they're all giving me stuff like, look at photographs. That's a picture of the past. Clearly, the past exists. And I'm like, no, that's you saying this object that's in the present is, and I have to tell you a story to say that it's the past. Nothing in that object is the past. I'm not holding the past by holding that. So I had a dream that they were giving me all these examples, and the one I remembered when I woke up was somebody like, my grandma is older than me. My grandma proves the past. So I know that I need to back away. How you doing, Jim?
That's actually that whole philosophy is called last Thursdayism. That you can't prove that the world was not entirely created. The whole universe was entirely created just last Thursday, and it's completely fully formed thing with the whole backstory involved. It's just taken a step further that it's only right now that actually exists. But yeah, that's the term for it. Last Thursdayism.
Okay. Now I know that that's the argument I'm using, because these people are saying that the past is material. I'm okay if it's material, put it in my hand, and then they put something in the present in my hand, say this is the past. I'm like, no, this is a picture.
See, this is what boggles my mind.
In my hand.
This is what
no, that's your grandma.
Yeah, your grandma is not the past.
Argument.
What, John?
So this is what boggles my mind. You were predestined to have this argument with an atheist.
I was.
So why don't you believe in predestination?
Can we hear from?
Because I chose it. Well, you believe in free choice.
What did you say? You
free choice. You free will.
I do.
I hear from Ping Tao Sang.
He's just as scared as I'm. Hey,
No.
skeptic, prove to me that you exist.
Hello?
Hello.
I think it's Russ.
Yeah, it's me.
He's just as scared as I am. I'm gonna
are
reach
you,
out and touch him.
He's just as scared as I am.
I don't have my buttons
Just
today.
as scared as I am.
Walk up to me, bit of water.
Wes, I can prove to you that I exist, but you have to look in your walls.
What does that mean?
Come out, Logan.
You won't know the Discord. We talk about that on Discord.
You
you
are
ain't
Indian and you
the-
need help.
Are you Punjabi?
I am becoming Indian. Please help me. They are taking me back to Punjab.
So is Tartaria real? I'm just trying to figure it out, y'all.
I told you it's real. It's the land of fish eggs.
The land of did they get there without fishes or just like the spawning ground?
No, it's like tartar.
Oh, is that what tartar is?
Tartar
Oh
is
no!
raw beef.
Oh no, that's caviar.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Caviar.
Caviaria. Caviartia.
I'm dumb.
Caviar tardia.
All that education went for nothing.
Years of academy training for nothing.
Dustin, what's your favorite fun rabbit hole conspiracy?
I like a lot of the moon ones. I always have fun with the moon ones. Like, you know, the moon is plasma. The moon is made of cheese. We never went to the moon. We did go to the moon, and there's Nazi bases on the dark side of it. The moon was invented in whatever year. I mean, some of them say like the 500s, the 1000s, 1500s. The moon was made in the year 1900. And it's a Death Star. It's a Star Wars Death Star. I like them all. They're all really fun. And I actually also believe that all of them are real, even if the ones that are contradictory. They're all real. That's a fact.
Hey, if there's Nazis on the moon, count me up because I want a new suit.
Wait, you just come out as a Nazi?
No.
You know, the thing that makes me question the moon landing the most was when I watched this press conference, and it's like, what is going on here? You guys seen
At
this?
this time, I'd like to introduce the Apollo 11 crew: astronauts Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, Edwin Aldrin. Neil.
It was our pleasure to have participated in one great adventure.
Oh, yeah, this isn't one.
Not just in the month of July, but rather one that took place in the last decade.
Like, why do they act like they have a gun to the back of their wives' heads?
Yeah. We all here and the people listening in today had the opportunity to share that adventure over its developing and unfolding in the past months and years. It's our privilege today to share with you some of the details of that.
Please don't kill my wife if I say something wrong.
That was certainly the highlight for the three of us of that decade.
I had cars. What's going on?
Divert a little bit from the format of past press conferences. And
yeah, it goes on like that, where it's just like they're stammering and they seem nervous and afraid. Like, wouldn't they be over the moon because they just got back from it? Like, that was one of the things that made me question about this. And then the other thing that I don't quite understand is why weren't they in quarantine for like a month after they got back?
Yeah,
I've asked people that believe in the moon landing, and I'm just kind of a skeptic. It could have happened, it could have not happened, but there's a lot of weird things. Like, what was the point of the quarantine? I've heard people say like, well, they didn't know if their immune system was going to be good, and they may have died if they got exposed to things. I'm like, what? I mean, maybe, but that doesn't really pass the smell test on the face of it to me. Like, what?
Yeah.
Why would their
That's
immune
the whole-
system have gotten? Why would they have been sickly? I don't understand it.
The whole boot thing also, like, if you see the boots that they were wearing, and then you see the photos of the boot prints, they don't even match up.
Yeah,
And there's lots of things like this happening really close to Kubrick's 21 Space Odyssey and all that stuff. But Justin, what do you think? What's the most compelling argument that the moon landing didn't happen?
One that I like is it's brought up in Wagging the Moon Doggy by Dave McGowan. I like his arguments. He's like, screw the photos. Everyone wants to talk about the photography, the lighting, and all. No. I agree with him. A few things. Spacesuits. The spacesuits would have to have the most complex HVAC systems that would ever be invented. They'd have to be able to handle no atmosphere, so no pressure.
Perfect.
They would also have to be able to cool off 270 degrees in the sunlight, and then also stay insulated enough that they would hold heat when they go in the shade. It would immediately be negative 270 degrees, like instant scalding to instant frozen. And somehow there's oh my goodness, somehow they're able to manage that. I think that's a pretty good thing. And then also, I mean, people talk about the Van Allen belt radiation. You know what I think is more convincing is all of the space debris. They want to tell us there's all this space debris that the moon protects Earth from being hit with. So that means there's all this stuff constantly pelting the moon at like bullet speed. Like a little rock is not going to be inhibited because there's no atmosphere to slow it down, so it's traveling at bullet speed, right? No friction. So you have all these little rocks constantly pelting the moon at bullet speed. How come nobody ever got hit, or even the spacecraft got hit, dude? It'd be like getting fired bullets at it. Just completely would wreck it. How come
there's enough space, dude? There's enough space where like you can all get along. There's enough space for, the space is big enough for us, our suits and our spaceship and the rocks, Give it enough space, it works.
It's like evolution. Just give it more time. All you need is more time, more space, more time. Yeah, I like those arguments. I think the spacesuit and the spacecraft kind of stuff it's like we're just supposed to take it at face value that it would be okay. The other one that I actually like too that Dave McGowan brings up is looking at the history of the space missions. America was way behind compared to the Soviet Union.
It was like the one thing we won in the space race, right?
Yeah, we were, dude, like we could barely, like we stumbled through even just basic spacewalks. Like the astronauts almost died constantly, and like they barely landed safely back on Earth. Like their spacecraft would come crashing and they'd get like broken arms and stuff. And then out of nowhere, we just pulled ourselves up by our American bootstraps and went, 100 or 1,000, whatever. Let's see, 200 miles above the Earth's surface was the common, and then 200,000 is the moon. So that would be 1,000 times the distance. We nailed it on the first attempt with no issues. We're supposed to believe that.
Seems logical. Nectarios is saying, I'm confused how they got all the footage when the computers they used to get there had less computing power than a TI-83 calculator. Like you probably couldn't even play Dune on the space race hardware. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, don't we have, isn't there footage? I've got another friend of mine who's like super NASA head. I was asking him just questions about this. And I asked about the footage being fake. And he's like, well, yes, there wasn't a broadcasting network that could broadcast to all of the United States at one time for there to be live footage. So the live footage of the moon landing is actually fake. That was in a studio, and they openly admit that. And we don't have the original footage, like the original reel of it, but we have copies of the copies. So we have the footage of it actually happening. They had the footage at the time. They just didn't air that because they couldn't on a broadcast network. So they filmed a fake moon landing for that. And I didn't really understand the argument, but that's what he was saying, was that there was a fake footage of it. They intentionally broadcast, but they had the real footage. they didn't choose to broadcast. Something about the radio networks. Anybody heard that before?
No.
Yeah.
I'm not super well versed in like moon conspiracies.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. I just don't. I don't understand how the limited nature of the broadcasting antennas at the time for live network television would be able to. Maybe it was because it was like a live footage instead of a playback of something. So they did a playback of doctored, made up fake footage instead of doing a live footage. But couldn't they have just done the recording and then be like, "Hey, last week this happened," instead of doing a fake thing? Because he openly admitted that it was fake footage.
Yeah, I feel bad for the guy that had to stay behind and film them leaving the moon.
I was gonna mention that. Yeah, don't we have footage of it leaving?
Oh yeah.
And the camera pans to follow it. It's like, wait a minute.
We're gonna land and then we'll be right back to get you, all right?
Yeah, this is for the vlog.
Yeah, this is
do it for the vine.
Do it for the vine.
It makes me think of this. Let me pull this video up.
I had to walk out whenever you asked what everybody's favorite conspiracy theory is, but mine has to be Operation High Jump.
Operation High Jump. I'll look at that in here a second.
I can't remember.
I do want to end it probably by like 2:15 at the latest. So I'm gonna be better at actually ending it instead of like half hour of hey, we should end. But the share screen, do it. That made me think of this shot. You guys ever seen this? Tell me what problems.
Oh yeah, nukes are definitely fake, dude.
Whoa, giant shockwave.
Oh yeah. What about the cameras?
Right, yeah.
Isn't there the car?
And whoa! Total static shot.
The scale looks wrong too. It looks like a small model rather than actually something large.
This
looks like one of those like old
This is where you 1v1 in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, right?
Nuketown, yeah.
The car, look at the car. Go back, this one. Go back to the last one, No, back again.
Oh, on the
look,
left?
There's a car here.
Over here on the left.
Yeah, there's a car on the left.
Okay,
And it just disappears. Look.
Oh, yeah. Why didn't they just cut that part out? That seems like an easy fix. Look, that people aren't even real. Totally fake.
My GoPro can go through an atomic bomb.
Have you tested that?
Not yet. It said so on the box.
I mean, so these are obviously, they have to be models, right? This is just like small scale. Right?
The story is, because I mean, I've been to Los Alamos where they tested everything. And it seemed like they do have like a mock-up town there.
Okay.
But it's
like for that footage, that would have to that footage is probably miniature.
Yeah, it's like
why wouldn't the camera just go flying?
Yeah, it almost certainly is not a real atomic
the footage
detonation.
is propaganda, but I don't think there isn't nuclear weapons with that.
Right. I just think that footage is not, and I don't know if the official story is that it's real or if it's just like a what it would look like or something. I don't know, but that footage definitely not real.
I don't believe that the mainstream narrative for nuclear bombs is the real one. They might have nuclear bombs, but the mainstream narrative around them is incorrect. It's not physically possible. So basically, as a quick rundown, what they do is they have an unstable. Who's got all the background noise?
That's John. He's always spray painting or something. John, I'm muting you. If you want to talk to us, unmute yourself.
So yeah, so basically it's like thousands of bombs that all go off at the same time around an unstable material. And then it's supposed to create a hyper amount of pressure Sorry. Okay. Okay. So, what it does is it destabilizes the material and causes it to split apart at the atomic level. The issue with that is that all of the bombs have to go off at precisely the same microsecond, and they have to detonate at they have to combust at the exact same rate. So if you've ever seen like a car engine in slow motion with a plexiglass top, you can tell that the detonation is slow and it moves through the cylinder. So that means combustion is not like instantaneous, right? It takes time, even if it's really, really slow. So what ends up happening with all of these thousands and thousands of bombs going off, you have an imbalance in the pressure. Imagine your sphere, but on like the left side of it, one bomb goes off just a microsecond later than the others and burns slightly slower. Well, now you have a weak spot in the pressure for that material to escape from. Rather than actually create this nuclear reaction like they're hoping for, the nuclear material just splits or escapes out that weak point. And that's why you have like what we saw at like Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You saw all these pockets of radiation. That's because when the nukes went off, it just spread the nuclear material around. So you had spots where there was nuclear material, but spots where there wasn't. So it actually didn't cause a nuclear reaction like they said. And they also sent in firebombing crews afterwards. And did you guys also know that Tokyo was sent a nuke, but it didn't even detonate at all? So they
where did they send it?
Tokyo.
There was a nuke that was on the way. There was a nuke that was on the way, but it didn't get dropped.
Oh, they didn't drop it?
No.
Okay. 1 second. I'll be right back. Go ahead, guys.
Well, I'm going to play this video that of Operation High Jump that Logan mentioned. And then after that, we can talk a little bit, and then I got to get going. But let's go ahead and do this. I have no idea what this is. This is the Antarctica expedition. I miss old reels like that. It's used for indoctrination purposes.
NPC.
They're hiding it right in front of us, dude.
Oh, is this with like Admiral Byrd?
I don't know, but I feel nostalgic for this, even though I've never even seen it. Now I feel like I'm in a meadow with a love interest.
Antarctica, the south polar continent, lies almost entirely within the Antarctic Circle and has an area of about 6 million square miles, nearly equal to the combined areas of the United States and Europe. Most of the continent and some of the coastline is unexplored. It is the world's highest continent, averaging 6,000 feet in elevation. The polar plateau, a vast expanse of ice and snow, is 10,000 feet high. There are extensive mountain ranges with peaks in excess of 13,000 feet. There are few good harbors or safe anchorages. In most places, ships have to moor to the ice by use of ice anchors and keep steam up in readiness to move in the event of bad weather or ice conditions. Temperatures have been observed as low as 76.6 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit and nearly 110 degrees below freezing.
It's a lot.
However, during the period of operations of the task force, the ground forces probably will not encounter colder temperatures than 10 degrees below zero. Blizzards of 100 miles per hour force have been recorded. It is easy to freeze or get lost in a blizzard if one is careless. En route to the Antarctic in November 1939 from Boston, the Bear puts in at the Navy Yard at Norfolk, Virginia, to pick up the pontoon-equipped Barclay Grow airplane and to take on ballast.
I would listen to this guy narrate anything.
The pontoons are specially built Edo floats for landing on either ice or water.
Now you know what a pontoon plane is.
Now repeat it back to me. What is a pontoon plane?
It goes on land or water. It's got these goofy looking bottom things on the bottom.
It's got a canoe as wheels.
Yes, many people will confuse the pontoons with the canoes.
Do you take this woman to be your wife?
No, I wanted a canoe.
Okay, that was done really well.
I thought that was the guy. Where'd he go? Where did our narrator go? I don't know what's
After the
happening
ship
anymore.
departs
Oh, here he is.
Panama, the captain
What's the
orders a great
conspiracy
circle
theory?
course set for the
I
Bay
don't
of
know.
Whales.
Logan said to watch this.
En route, there were many things to do.
No, I said
This scene is
Operation
assembly
High
and
Jump.
dock
I've
play.
never seen this
To be ready
particular
upon
video.
arrival
What?
for the mammoth
This is
task of
Operation
unloading the
High Jump.
ships.
That's what it says. Navy Operation High Jump.
Yeah,
You
man.
think-
Where's
Am I
Prodigy?
not doing the right thing?
Where did Prodigy?
Maybe.
Where did
I don't know.
Prodigy disappear, man?
Is Operation High Jump about Antarctica, Logan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kinda
The,
like Admiral
my
Byrd.
favorite Antarctica video is a long one from Truth Stream Media. You know, that the husband and wife that Jay's gone on with.
Maybe. I don't know.
I forget their names, but yeah, they have a really good one about Antarctica.
Did you ever hear about like that Admiral Byrd where he was flying over Antarctica to explore it, and then I guess like 2 alien spacecrafts came and intercepted him, and
Did they
then
put
brought
stuff up
him.
his butt?
I don't know about that, but they brought him into this. I guess it goes with like the Hollow Earth theory. They brought him in there, and there was like just this tall race of white people living there with this advanced technology.
Did they look like the white Yakub people with the eggheads?
No, I guess they were very beautiful people.
Oh, wow.
Did they find Amazonia?
What about Atlantis?
Should I go wife hunting there?
You guys think Atlantis is
Yeah, I want a
somewhere?
tall white girl.
Atlantis? I have no
where is it?
clue.
I'm gonna look up. Where's Atlantis? I gotta find it.
Probably in the middle of the Mediterranean.
Where Atlantis at?
I think it's
Maybe
like,
the island of Cyprus.
I think the best place right now, what I last seen was like somewhere in, I think Africa, because there's like this place where it has like these rings around it, and it was at one time full of water, something like that.
Plato said it was a powerful, advanced civilization, 9,000 years before his time. With a large plain surrounded by mountains and a central city dedicated to Poseidon. I mean, I gotta know. If science can't even tell me where Atlantis is, I can't trust nothing they say. Well, hey, it's right here on the map.
Bermuda
Right there.
Triangle.
Right next to Amista and Africa. I know where that is. Well, dude, dang, dude, that is solved right there.
No, for Operation High Jump, the usual, like, the conspiracy thing that I heard, that I always hear for it is that it was an Allied expedition shortly after World War II to Antarctica, and like they went there, and then whenever they came back, they had lost like 60% of the expedition or something, and everything that I always heard was like the admiral that led it got thrown in a insane asylum because his journals were filled with stuff like Nazi UFOs popping out of the ice and taking out several ships.
I know the Nazis did have a few bases in Antarctica.
What were they doing, dude? What were they doing? I think this is probably not where Atlantis was, but I think it is where a.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's
I think it's like where Shai Hulud it last emerged. So I mean,
Well,
there's that.
the claim is that Antarctica is really important militarily because if you're going from South America over to Africa, it's such a long distance. It makes it better to have a stopping point halfway. So that's why they would just go straight down. You what?
To like refuel or gather supply, like to resupply.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah,
was
like,
actually
yeah.
C.H. Tabur. That's true. That was C.H. Tabur. I mean, I think it's self-evident. I think we can all agree. It's been debunked.
Find your lot lizards.
Lot lizards.
What is that? Is that like Mark Zuckerberg?
Jezebels.
Lot lizards are the girls that hang around truck stops and make money.
Oh, women of the night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lot lizards.
Oh, I don't think I've heard that one. Hey, Nadim, what's your favorite slang for prostitute?
Sorry.
What's your favorite slang for prostitute? I'm partial to hooker myself. That one's
304.
304. I don't. What is that? Where did that come from? 304.
It's HOE upside down.
Oh, it's calculator speech. I see.
Okay, that makes sense.
Did Tim Pool say he got like a bunch of people mad at him on Twitter because he was calling out all these girls hookers, but he was like, technically, it's just your profession. It's not an insult.
Yeah, there's definitely a double standard. It's honorable sex work. It's a real profession. Don't you say that I'm a woman of the night? Is that what you said?
Isn't that what you're promoting on your Instagram?
Yeah. Oh, it's okay when you say you're a whore, but I can't say you're a whore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the N-word, right? They can say it, but we can't.
Right. And I mean, I do want to let y'all know that I, as the resident black man here, give all of y'all the N-word pass, but with great power comes great responsibility. So do not wield it willy-nilly. You know, those who live by the sword die by the sword. So you have it, but please act in meekness. Go and sin no more.
One Norm Macdonald joke where he was like,
That's me? You drew
Obama,
me?
Obama was a very nice man, but he was also the only man in the White House.
I ain't got no reaction, man. Shut up, John.
What? Okay, say it again.
Well, he said Obama was a very good president, but he was the only black man as president to use. You know, he was the only man as president to use the N-word as a term of endearment.
Can I find Obama saying that? Is there footage of him saying it?
Yeah.
Was that a dog dying?
So sounded like a small child dying.
I'll find it and send it
Guys,
to you.
I have a legitimate question here for my Orthodox brethren. So maybe I should ask my priest, but I'm going to ask you guys. Is this a blasphemous joke if I say, what did God say when he made the first black person? Oh, shit, I burnt one.
I mean, jokes are jokes, you know.
There's
lots of those.
Dude, I tell that to all my friends, like black, white, Mexican, Asian, everybody laughs. It's funny. Then some Karen got upset at me one time. They're like, don't joke about God and black people like that. God doesn't make mistakes. Like, dude,
that makes me think of a story my wife has told me a couple times. Her and her older brother were at like a Protestant church. They're like 12 and 13. And they're like on some kind of, youth group trip or whatever. And her brother yells, "Holy cow!" And she goes, "Cows aren't holy. That's what Hindus believe." And like she got really upset and told him not to say "holy cow." Like it's just ridiculous.
That's your heart.
I remember my very first recollection of telling a joke was I told this joke to our pastor when I was like a little kid. We were at church. I was like, "Hey, Pastor Barney, I have a joke for you." He's like, "Okay." I was like, one time Ronald Reagan was giving a speech and this one guy stood up and started yelling, "I'm a Democrat, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Democrat." And finally, Ronald Reagan told the guy, well, if your father was a jackass, if your grandfather was a jackass, what does that make you? Well, so I'm Republican. And they got so mad at me. They're like, what are you saying jackass for? I was like, I didn't even know what it meant. I was like, the only like, I was just like, well, isn't ass just a donkey? It's in the Bible.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, that's not what he was meaning by that.
I definitely got in trouble for like saying bad words when I didn't know what they meant. I would like rhyme stuff: stick, spit, hit, shit. Ah, what? I don't even know what I was saying. Yeah, that happens. All right, goodbye, everybody.